Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers in the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and this is video 1 in the Midnight Meadow series. This is a collaboration, another one by Nanine at CollageType and Tanya at Tatty Treasure Shop, and this is my design team project for October of 2022. Now, since it's another collaboration, I don't know, you probably remember Memories of the Meadow, and it was a huge kit. This is a huge kit. This is not in order anymore because I filmed this once and it took 30 minutes to go through the kit. I'm not going to do that this time. You can go to Nanine's shop at CollageType at Etsy. You can go to Tanya's shop at Tatty Treasure Shop on Etsy and flip through the whole kit. And that's what you should do anyway, is go to their shops. So there are also some pieces in here that are freebies if you're a member of the Facebook group Tatty Treasure. And all the links to everything are going to be below the video. And then there are things that you can get in Tanya's Patreon page or you know what I mean, group. And I believe, I'm not sure, there might be some from Buy Me a Coffee as well. I'm not really sure. My task this time, not task, but my objective this time was to use the portrait pages mainly. So, and I volunteered for that. But they're beautiful. So we're obviously going to have to, unfortunately, cut most of them down, but we're going to pick the best parts. So I am going to show you the portrait pages. Now, some of these are the backing pages from both kits, and then some of them are the vertical pages or portrait pages from Tanya's kit. Now, Tanya did more for the folio person, and so, not necessarily though, because, I mean, we are going to do a folio, we're going to do a manila folder folio, but yay, manila folders again. But it wouldn't necessarily have to be that way. You know, you can cut just this part down. Here I go talking. Okay, so this is the piece I'm going to use for the cover. Then there's these other beautiful pieces. Like I said, there's a lot. There's 60 pieces total, including the ephemera. They're awesome. There's some William Morris style. This is Memories of the Meadow reimagined in this color scheme. They're not all exactly the same. Some of them are the same, only in this color. So here's another William Morris and another one inspired. These are not William Morris prints, but they're inspired. Here's a collage page. I know, I'm trying to get through them quickly. That's why you're going to have to go to the Etsy shops and look through, because there's just so many. And like I said, part of these pages are Nanine's. So don't just go to one shop, you want to go to both. Okay. And also, before I forget, if you're a member of the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, you will get a step-by-step companion tutorial that you can use along with the videos in a PDF form. Okay, and that's free. Alright, so this is what we're mainly going to work with, plus these backing papers. And these are the original what would be considered the backing papers for both kits. Oh, there's 2 of those. I accidentally printed 2. And then there's the bigger plaid. And then we're going to look at the ephemera real quick, but we're not going to be able to use very much ephemera on this particular one. Actually, this is the giveaway folder. And then I think all of this is the giveaway. Maybe not. And then here's some of the ephemera. This is the main journal set from the horizontal or landscape set. I'm terrible at doing this. You can flip through, you can see there's all kinds of stuff, pockets and cards and accents. Oh my. Here's the ones from Tanya's set. Nice, some nice big cards. We might be able to use a couple of those. This is the horizontal or the portrait, landscape pages. Okay. And here's some more ephemera. And yes, she does have a buy me a coffee, and it's also her add-on from Patreon. So that's what this is. And then this is the add-on set by Nanine. Now the main kits are the main pages and some ephemera, and then the add-on kits are additional ephemera. I may have mixed some of this in together. Like I said, I had started to sort them because I was going to get the ones I was going to use, get the ones I was going to print at half size, get the ones I wanted to print on the back. So I haven't done any of that. So obviously between video 1 and video 2, we're going to do that. Wow, from 30 minutes down to 6 minutes. Look at me go. I told you I could talk fast if I wanted to. Okay, so there we go. So that's the main idea. You get the idea of the theme and the colors. You get the idea of what we're going to be working with. Now let's see if we can make this similar to my proto, which, as we all know, is what I call my prototype. Now we're going to be using an 8.5 by pretty close to 14 legal-sized manila folder, and we're going to make a trifold. And this is all the farther I got. I got this far on this one, and then I realized I needed to put the pocket over here. Anyway, and my gussets were crooked, so we're not using that one. I do have an extra folder here, just in case. You never know. Wait a minute. Let's keep the real proto away from the dead one. Let's put the dead one in the trash. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our folder and we're going to cut some off. We're going to cut it off on the tab end. And the reason we're going to do that is because this tab is too wide for the folds that I want to make. And I don't want to try to fold the tab. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to cut it down. I'm going to put the blade on instead of the score blade. Okay, and we're going to cut it down. I'm definitely going to be referring to my notes on this. Oh, the color I'm using is Gathered Twigs for the accent color. And yeah, it's 14 3/4 by 9.5 high, and that's including this tab. So we're going to cut it to 12 1/4 inches long, cutting off the tab end. I hope I got this right. I had it at 12 1/2, but then I decided to shorten it a little bit. 12 1/4. I just ate some popcorn. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I'm stoned on popcorn. I'm going to cut that off. You can see I tried a few times. Alright, now the next thing you're going to want to do is round these. You can do it by hand if you can cut one of these. I can't. So I am going to just use my corner rounder on both of them. Not at once, obviously. And it looks a little different than a manila folder, but it does match. Okay? It's probably the only corner rounding we'll be doing unless we make some cards. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is get our scoreboard out. Now, most people probably have. one of these, and I use this, and I love it. This is by EK Tools. Best scoreboard I've ever used. Besides using the scoreboard blade on this one. The measurements. The measurements. That's all I have to say. Plus it's easier on manila folder for me. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start with this over here. Alright? And we want, let me look at my notes. Tab side on left, short side up. Actually, this came out wrong the last time and I had to turn it right side out. I wonder why that happened. Oh, because when you fold it in. Yeah, we're going to have to do it like this, and then she says confidently. And then flip the folder inside out. So we're going to score it at 4. We're going to be putting 2 gussets in, 2 spines. So we're going to score it at 4. And we're going to score it at 4.5. At least this one's straight, sort of. Wow, is it not straight? How could that be so crooked? Really wanted to do this. It's just, I think, because of this. 4.5. There we go. Just want to make sure I didn't cut it crooked. See, that's why I brought an extra folder. I'll bet I did. Look at that, another little piece. And we're going to round it. That one didn't round very well. It almost looks like the little notch that's supposed to be there. Come here, you. Okay. Now we're going to take it and we're going to score it That's why I said short side up, probably 4.5. Oh yeah. With the scoring blade, well, it's not a blade, but you have to be careful. This one will push your wire over, so you have to be careful with your score lines. Takes me a few times back and forth, even though I'm pressing down fairly hard. That's another reason you have to be careful about the wire. Okay, 4.5. That was 4.5. We want to score it at 4 as well. Let's bring it back. There's no way in the world I'm taking this manila folder off here once I start scoring. And we're going to score at 8.5. And then we're going to score at 9. So that's going to give us 2 1/2 inch. It's probably a little big, but I am leaving room for you to put a journal in. We are kind of scrunched for time, so if we have time, we'll make a journal and put it in. But if we don't, then you've got a spine where you can either sew it in, or I would punch holes and use elastic with eyelets. Okay, now your side that's bumped up is the side that wants to fold. Okay, so we're going to fold this. Let's see, I want this to be, yeah. So I did do it right this time. And you don't want to use your bone folder on it at this point. We want the folds to be straight, but we don't want them to be super, super sharp. You're going to fold it in again, giving yourself that 1/2 inch gusset. You want to make sure it's straight across the bottom, which I forgot to check. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, and you'll notice this is smaller. That's because when we fold it in, we need that extra space so that it doesn't bump up against the other side. We're also going to have to do some trimming. Oh, of course I did. That was silly. Got ahead of myself. I know this is off camera, but I'm having to hold it up real close to myself to see if I can fix my fold. Don't worry about if this is like this. It's because of the thickness. We'll fix that. Folding gussets is not my strong suit, as you can probably tell, plus with it being manila folder. Okay, so now at this point, it is backwards. So at this point, I'm going to turn it inside out. Okay, so we've got it turned inside out. So that way it was right the first time. This is what drives me crazy with making one of these, is getting this part in the front. Okay, so I'm just folding everything backwards. Alright, so now we have this, and it's going to be like a box, okay? So right now, don't worry too much. I mean, you don't want it to be super off. You don't want your folds to be crooked at the bottom. But, like I said, it's going to be a trifold. It's not really a traveler's notebook, because I guess it could be if you wanted it to be. Okay, so now we're going to, let's see, let me make sure, turn the inside out if needed. Okay, so now we're going to have to cut this. So what we're going to want to do is, Let me make sure again. We're going to cut them to here. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right one. Inside, you know, I'm going to ink this, so I might as well ink it so you can see. And I'm not going to ink it very much, just enough so you can see what I'm pointing at. Let me check my camera. Yeah, you can see those. Okay, so now what we want to do, we're going to make a pocket over here. So I know we're going to cut this off. What I'm trying to remember, yeah, I didn't cut the other one. Cut the panels apart. Oh, that's right, because we're going to have to glue this back. Okay, so we don't need, we're only going to cut the inside, the short side, not the long side. So we're going to cut this one here, not the outside one, but the inside one. We're going to cut it all the way to here. I wish I could use my paper trimmer. So when you turn it around, it's going to be the one closest to the center, because we don't need this gusset on this side. We've got this on here to fold over, and that'll help with the thickness. So we're going to give this a whirl. I never cut my other one, so. I know you can hear this against the glass, but I'm sorry, I need to hold it down. Okay, and then we're going to leave that alone for right now. We need this gusset here, so we're going to cut this off. Wait a minute, let me make sure. We need this gusset here, so we're going to cut this here. Yeah, and this is crooked. Okay. Because we want to get rid of the bulk. So we need to, I wonder if we really do need to do that. Because once we glue the gusset together and we score it, burnish it, are we still going to have too much bulk to fold? I know that Tiny can do this. I've seen her do it a million times. Glue it. Okay. Yeah. So now we're going to measure 4.5 inches on this part. 4.5 up. I know what I want it to be. I should have gone ahead and done my prototype the whole way, but I didn't want to cut it until I got the folds right. You don't really want to draw on your gusset. You're going to see it. Sometimes erasing it doesn't erase it completely, and if you're not going to erase the line, if you're making a mark you know, you definitely want to have it invisible, but we are going to you're going to realize that we cut for the pocket on the, no, okay. I cut for the pocket on the wrong side. As I should have done it on the tall side. Let's see if we can make it work. Fold it in and make the pocket here. Totally messes up my layout. And if we fold it back the other way, oh no, wait. No. Yeah, I made the, well, that's all right. We can have a, let's try it. What happens if I turn it inside out again? That's what I did. Okay. Goodness. I knew I wanted the pocket on the right side. You just have to be careful with, you know, being able to flip it all around. And I don't need this inside gusset. I said confidently when I said it. That doesn't look exactly straight. And I'm not doing it all the way across because I don't need to. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna, sorry about that. We're gonna take and we're gonna cut this part off. We're gonna remove this, okay? Remember, this is me not doing this before. Not this particular layout anyway. Okay. And if you want to keep this for the tab, you probably shouldn't have drawn a big X on it. Even though I did. I'm not going to worry about it right now unless I need it. I've got a whole bunch of tabs over there already. Now, we're also going to, I think we're going to cut this off. I think we need to cut this off because it's just going to be silly. I don't know though, it would reinforce that pocket, wouldn't it? It'd give us a bigger pocket. Okay, so now let's if you want to paper this inside right here, do it now. Once we get all this glued, you're not going to be able to reach it. Okay? So at this point, we're going to ink. So I am going to ink mine. And I may stamp it. I'm not sure. Tanya stamps hers around the edges and it looks really cool. So I may go ahead and try that and see. And I might ink it and stamp it as well. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I might ink everything except for the top and stamp it on the inside. Just to be different. Just to be different. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this right here. And we still have 30 minutes left, so don't worry. It looks like we're going to possibly get this done in the first video. Let's hope. We're going to go ahead and ink this. in the hopes that we can keep it. You might want to cut the other side of the gusset off, you know, I mean the score line, because it's going to make a little raised bump, plus that'll make it close better because you won't have that little bit of bulk right there. I don't know though, when you go to glue it, is it going to be difficult to glue if it's not there? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think just cutting the top part helped us out. Okay, so open it up, ink everything, ink all the seams. I know that this is going to be folded shut, but it's not going to take you that long. Just ink everything real quick, and then stamp what you want to stamp, and we'll be back in just 1 second for you. Okay, so this is my mess. I inked everything, and then I want to show you what this is in just a second. And I used the walnut stain with the brush. Now, you'll notice that around the edges where the folds are, I got like a big mess, but I decided to leave it because, you know, it's a Meadow. It's not going to be perfect. So that was fine. Then I decided I would go back, and I went through with Rusty Hinge, and I hit some of the edges to reflect this rust color in here, hoping it would pick that up. Okay, now the other thing is that I found out why when I was doing the edges it did this. If you look at this brush, let's see in the camera if you can see it. Do you see the ink down in here? When you do the edges with a brush, it goes down in between the bristles. So it was hitting all of that really dark, super dark ink on the edge of the paper. So when I was doing this was doing this, right? And so the edge of the paper was going down in between the bristles, and that's what caught on there. So my takeaway from that is A, don't do that, or B, see if I can wash the brush and get the ink out from here, you know, and let it dry, and then use it again. I'm not going to worry about it on this project because we're going to be using this to do the edges of the paper. I need to get one out with Rusty Hinge. Got one right here that I was using. That's not it. That is not it. Well, I guess it is now. Anyway, so that we can put it on the other one just in case we want to hit something with that to give it that little bit of an extra color. And these are Dollar Tree. I have them stacked up very high. I duct taped them together. Anyway, so we've got that. I'm going to try to not stick my walnut stain one on the Rusty Hinge. I actually have Picket Fence, which is white, and I was doing black and white, and I accidentally dunked my black dauber, or dabbed it right on top of the Picket Fence, but it was fine. So this is to show you that when you get down into the bristles, well, most of the ink is right there, but it gets that extra ink, and it's a lot more than what you were trying to do. Then this is the Rusty Hinge right here by itself. Okay? So don't worry, it's all right. We're covering it with paper. Even though it would have been kind of cool if we didn't. But that's not our project. So the next thing we're going to do, believe it or not, is I'm going to move these out of the way. Probably won't use very much of that Rusty Hinge. But I love the color though. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. What we're going to do is we're going to paper this first before we glue anything. I know. So I've decided I want this center, but I want it to go all the way up so it picks up this color. Okay, so I'm not going to cover my tab. I'm going to leave a little bit of a border here and then go straight across. I like the way the tab came out, and I don't really want to cover it up and try to cut it out because I'm really very, very bad at that. A way that you can do it is to cut the width of your paper and then slide the paper up, flip it over, trace the tab, and then cut it out, and then slide it back down, and that will cover, you know, then your shape of your tab will be there. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I just thought I would show you. So let me get my pencil out. We're going to mark this. Now I want these two flowers right here to be in the center. And then I think we're going to use one of these closures. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But I don't necessarily want it right in front of that flower. So we're going to have to kind of finagle this a little bit. And yeah, so what we want to do is, I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the edges to see where they are. I want to put it over further. That's too far. I want to put it down. Why don't I cut the height first? That'll give me a smaller piece to work with. Whoops. I'm going to bring it down just, oh it is, just a little bit. And then cut it, mark it up just a little bit. And then that'll be our height. It's not going to help us that much. I feel like if I can sit and do this and move the paper like this, I should be able to sew. You would think. I have a sewing machine, don't get me wrong. I have one. I used it once and put it back in the box. I'm afraid of it. And then I was watching Making the Cut, which is sort of like Project Runway. It's the same people. Gunn and Heidi Klum. And this guy was sewing, and he put the needle right through the middle of his finger, and it broke off, and the thread was sticking out. I was like, okay, that's enough of that. All right, so if I put this here, well, that is helpful. And I put this here, I can see the edges this way. I can see where this is. Okay, so that's still too far over that way. Remember, we're going to be leaving a little bit of an edge. I think we're just going to have to maneuver where we put the closure. And I was going to do something else with the closure, but or add something to the closure, and I'll show you that in a minute because there's a little trick as well. This paper might be a smidge long. Yeah, I think I'm going to take another 16th off the bottom. I'm just eyeballing it. Let's see, how about that border now? I just felt like I wasn't seeing enough of the border. I'm definitely seeing border now. Now I feel like it's too short. What do you guys think? because I'm going to have to make it match all the way across. It is. I just cut it too short. Okay, round 2. All right, let's try that again. Okay. I've inked it so well, it's kind of hard to tell. Or possibly inked it so much. Maybe that's what the word I want to use. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, let's take another 1/16 off. Oh, look, now it's too short. Paper's still a little damp. Fresh off the presses. Okay. Can you tell it's not 3 o'clock in the morning? My neighbor's not asleep. Okay. Maybe if I went by the stems. I think that might work. Because I really do want to get that rusty accent in there. Well, hi, Oz. Oz is here. Everybody say hi to Oz. He's being good and he's not barking. Just kind of wandered in. I think he's looking for paper on the floor. Most of you guys that watch on a regular basis, and if you don't, please subscribe. Hit the little dinger. I have a dog named Oz. He's a Chiweenie, so he looks like a little miniature dachshund. And sometimes he loses his mind and he has to bark. Or, you know, he has to act like a dog. All right, I think that's going to work. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this on. Now, the reason we had to do this first is to put that closure on. I'm going to put it up here and not cover that flower. Or should I put it here? No, that's too far down. I'll put it right here. A little bit higher from center won't matter, but putting it way down here would make a difference in closing it. Kind of cool to put 2, wouldn't it? Like one up here and one down here. That's a thought. I mean, you may have to do it twice, but you have to unbuckle a briefcase twice. Let's get this inked and glued on. Maybe I'll think about it and we'll do it at the beginning of video 2. I see you have to be careful with this too. I don't want to over ink it. I mean, I want it to be, well, I do want it to look kind of scruffily, don't I? And if I'm going to use walnut stain, I might as well use walnut stain, right? I don't know why I'm afraid of this color. I used this darker color because I wanted to. And then now I'm barely using it, right? So let's just use it. Let's just go with it. Let's just go with it. Oh, I like it. Okay. So you can see we're not going to use very much of the paper. We're going to use the portrait pages, but I really recommend picking up the kits. Excuse my voice. I don't know what happened all of a sudden. Cheers. But if you go over to the shops, then you can pick up the kits and the add-on kits and it's really great. I'm sure I'm going to do another project using the same paper. Probably a book. Not necessarily on camera, but just for myself. Yes, I do actually occasionally craft when I'm not on camera. My friends are like, craft on the craft and chat with us. And I'm like, but I've been crafting since 3 in the morning and it's now 7 o'clock at night. And they're like, well, wait and craft with us. And I'm like, well, that would be a great plan, except for you guys would all have to mute yourselves so that I didn't hear you. And what kind of chat would that be? Nobody could hear anybody. It would be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Everybody would have to do that little raise your hand thing. And have to put the video on pause so somebody could talk. Think how much pausing that would be. Well, you'd have to know my friends. To know them is to love them. Okay. So we've got that. Oh yeah, we've got plenty of time to do the closure. So now that I've got scrap, I'd like to take a piece that has both, that has this texture. I just got this. This is an EK, just like my scoreboard. I think that's what I want. And we're going to be using more than one of these circles. I just did a tutorial and it was 6 pages of different ways to use acetate. Well, I mean, sure, pockets and belly bands. I didn't do an ephemera holder, but different ways to make pockets and belly bands and such. So this time I thought maybe we would look at policy closures and look at some different shapes maybe of policy closures that you can do. I have an idea for one that I think you're going to like. That's pretty cool. It looks like wood. I like it. Now, speaking of wood, I was going to put one of these on top and wrap the string around, but now I see that they're too big, right? So I can't do that. But I wanted to tell you a secret about these. These are Crafter's Square from Dollar Tree, and they're like chipboard, right? Only they're not, because they're Dollar Tree. They're actually pressed paper. So if you take and put one of these, a whole one, in warm water for about 30 seconds, you can pull the layers apart. And this is a different one, but you can pull the layers apart and get 3 out of 1. They're a lot thinner, and you can use them as ephemera. Just a nifty little trick I thought I would share. And then we'll probably put something down here. You know, we could put a pocket. All right. Time. I'll think about it. I will think about it. I haven't written anything else but how to do this part out. So I have no idea, other than I'd like to look at policy closures, what I'm going to do. Don't you love it? Okay. Now, the reason we didn't glue anything is because we need to punch a hole between here. So I thought it would be easier to do it if we waited. So now the thing is that your circle, this is a 1-inch circle. So you want to remember that you need to put it far enough back from the edge. So this is a lighter area, so I can mark it right on here just like that where I want to punch the hole, and you can see it right there instead of just guesstimating, which I've been known to do. There's a slide rule on here as well, so if you wanted to make sure that you put it 1.5 inches in, you could just set this to 1.5 inches, and then you couldn't slide it in any farther and it would stay at 1.5 inches, just so you know. And these are the measurements for the 1/8 inch hole, and then these are the measurements for the 3/16, or the other way around anyway, hole. And then for setting them, you look at the middle row. A little bit of crocodile tips in with the folio making. Okay. Then we're just going to use a brad. Kind of like it up there. I wish I had brass and not gold. I've got silver. That would be better than gold, I think. We're not going to have enough time to do all the gluing, so we'll do that and then do the next page in the next video. That will give me enough time, because this will still be open, to take the brad back out if I don't like it. I can also overnight some of the other color. Oh, this will be fine, I think. But I can also order some of the other color, the one in between. Get them overnight from my friend at Amazon. Okay. And just flip it back. Flip his little legs open. Now we're going to make a pocket here. So you're going to want to put your little legs. I'm going to make a pocket actually from the side. So I'm going to put the little legs this way. So I'm showing the smallest profile towards where you're going to slide it in and out. And then I'm going to put a piece of tape over it. I think I'm happy with that color. I think I'm fine with that. So I'm going to go ahead and put the piece of tape on. You know, that's awfully close to the edge. I guess I better do it this way anyway. And then put a piece of tape over it. And that will help keep it from catching on the edge. Okay, so that's how farther we'll go for this video. That's enough for you to do. So that'll be for your homework. Don't glue anything yet. This is the inside mess that I made. Don't forget, when you're inking the edges, when they put the ink on your brush, then tap it on a spare piece or in the center that you're going to cover with the paper, but just tap it once to get that real condensed amount of ink right in the center, kind of knocked off, so that you don't get that where it starts with a big smear. You can also start inking from like right here and work your way out, and then when there's not a whole lot of ink, then you can come back in from the edge and catch your edge to make it a little bit darker if you want, or you can go back around and hit it with one of these around the edge. This is definitely not Rusty Hinge. This is something else entirely. I can just cover it. Anyway, so that's what we've got for this video. We've, oh, that looks cool. I like it. I like it. So we've cut everything out. We measured it. We cut everything out. And then we are going to glue it. And then we will start by doing, I believe, this one right here. We may do the pocket page first just to get the flapping out of the way. Either one. Alright, I'll let you know when we get back. Alright, I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.